Hey, HR friends, welcome back. You made it to step five. Step five is a big deal. This is a transitional step. So now you've learned the basics through steps 1 through 4, and we're about to show you how to use the technology. Now, before we do that, let's just do a brief review. So step 1 was the press release, and that just lets you know we broke the mathematics of space-time and created some cool technology with it. Step 2 was all about how to read that technology, understanding the design of the space-time clocks, as well as the overall objective. We also introduced the space-time live feed that's embedded right here on our homepage at healthreconnected.com. Step 3 helped you understand the objective and what would happen if you don't complete the objective. It also helped you understand how every single one of us is currently existing within the cycle of death or a negative feedback loop. Now, I'm not so happy about that, and I'm sure you're not so happy about that, but that's where this technological advantage really comes in handy. Now that we know how this space-time math works, we can use this to our advantage to stop having to suffer and start making things exponentially better. So in order to understand how we're going to do that and show you the big picture, I actually want to review step 4 here before we move on to 5, okay? So let's navigate here. Step 4 doesn't have a video, but it's important. I want you to see the big picture here, okay? And the big picture is now that we have this unseen electromagnetic pattern, we can synchronize it with our past data. Our past data is very, very valuable because once we synchronize this with our health records, for example, and our public records, and with our environmental records, we're going to be able to use that past data to create unbelievably accurate predictions for the future. What do I mean? Well, at the individual level, we'll know what individuals have to worry about what diseases, when those diseases will start to develop, and what we would want to do preventatively to help those individuals not have to experience those conditions because that would be unpleasant. At the local level, we're going to be able to understand through data where the next shootings are likely, mass shootings, for example, or when tragedies are going to happen, and what regions are likely to have them because of imbalanced thought patterns. You see, thought isn't just about individual balance. It's about how all the individuals in a regional area decide to balance together. Now, in a regional area, if choices are unbalanced, then what happens to those regional areas is they're going to have larger upscaled events that create unpleasantries. That's what's causing our tragedies. Same thing with weather patterns. We're going to be able to predict when the next weather catastrophes will happen and where they're going to happen. That's how cool and how powerful the HRT tool is. And that's what we're going to show you to use here now. It's very important that every individual understand how important their role is in this. In fact, the individuals are the most important part of this process. We cannot create collective change unless individuals are willing to do the work. So that's what these 3 documents on step 4 are about. And I hope that everyone's taken the time to review them. If you haven't, you really should. The first 2 documents disclose the design of the body and how the design of the body is causing lots of our complications, and then it breaks it down into 3 easy ways to categorize thought. Now, just understanding this in layman's terms is going to help you stop making as many unbalanced choices and help you start to achieve this objective a little bit faster. Now, the last document is actually a scoring system, and the highest you can score in this system is a 10. And if you achieve a 10 and you hold a 10, the next time you're born into an existence, it will be in the cycle of life. And the other thing is, this is going to allow people to have a baseline, to know where they're at, and then to step by step know what they need to do to expand their score. Now, if you don't happen to make it to the cycle of life, let's say you score an 8 or a 9 or a 7 or a higher number, it's not like your time and investment isn't going to reward you in some way. Yes, you're not going to leave the cycle of death, but if you're wondering why certain people within this cycle seem to have more power or more money or a more favorable experience, how you do the time before is why you're either doing not so good this time or exponentially better this time. Again, the objective, though, is to get to whole base thought and to get to that heavenly afterlife. That's how we're going to use this technology. That's what we're going to show you how to do here. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate to where the HRT tool is embedded. Now, I'm doing this because this is the web-based version, and it's going to take a hot minute for it to load up. It's loading from the cloud, and it takes about 5 seconds. So just be patient, but once it loads up, It's ready to rock and roll, people. And that's what we're about to do here. So I'm going to zoom this in, and we're going to take this embedded HRT tool for a spin here. We're going to show you how to enter data and how to sift through data. All right, let's do it. Now that we're zoomed in, let's talk about what the embedded HRT tool is capable of. Now, even though this tool is very limited in comparison to our downloadable version, this tool is very, very powerful. And what this will allow you to do is basically have the function of the space-time clock display we have on our home page. So you can see it right here. We've got the space-time clocks, we've got the alignment graphs, we got the quadrant guides, and we have all the little indicators that warn us when there are alignments, polarity flips, that kind of stuff. Now, the difference between this one and the one that we have on our home page is this isn't just current time. You can set this to current time, but you can go backwards and you can go forwards in time. In addition, this one allows you, if you have accurate birth data, to put birth data in so you can see your own personal rhythms in relation to the collective moment. Now, to quickly show you how this works and how simple this is, let's just use an example. So you got to remember, our technology helps you understand this biofeedback system that we're connected to here. So people are going to use our technology to understand why they have certain problems or are experiencing health concerns. Now, in the example I'm going to use, we're going to give an example of a person who's trying to look up why they got a really bad headache on the left side. Now, in this example, whether you have birth data or you don't, we're going to show you how this tool is still valuable. So even if you don't have accurate birth times and you can't look at your own personal rhythms, and that's going to be a lot of people, not everybody have birth times. Now, we're going to help you reverse engineer that, but we don't want you to have to wait for anything. We want you to start using this technology to your advantage as soon as possible. All right, so let's do this example so we can show you how to do some data entry here at the same time. Now, this person that got the headache, they want to look up the day that it happened, and it happened on April 1st. So that's the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to put in an event time. And when we put the event time in, that's going to change the positions of the clocks, the hands of the clocks, the alignment graphs. It's going to show us what was happening in that moment when the headache started. All right, so let's do this. So first we got to do the month, backslash the day, backslash 4 digits for the year. So we've got April 1st, 2024, and you can hit enter. I just click off here to the side, and we're going to give this a second. It's going to populate the information. All right, perfect. Now, the headache actually started at 3 p.m. So to put in the time, that's what you do, you enter it. Now, the format here is hour first, then you have to have a colon, the minutes. Now, this is important. If you want AM or PM, there has to be a space, and then you'd either put an A for AM, but in this example, it's PM, so we're putting a P. Again, you can hit enter. I just click off to the side. Now, this is going to populate again. It's going to move it. Okay, there we go. Now, we got to check the time zone. So in this example, this individual does not live in Eastern time. This individual happens to be in Central time. So we need Central time zone, and right now, daylight savings is being observed for this time of the year. So, got to have the right time zone. There we go. Okay, so now what we've done is we've entered the event times. Now, let's enter the birth data here too, because I think that's important. We want to show you both things, and we're going to talk about both of them. Now, let's show you how easy it is to do this. If you have accurate birth time, this is how easy it is. So this person was born in May 18th, 1947. Okay, same format. We've got month, we've got day, then we've got 4 digits for the year, and the time they were born was 3:30 a.m. in the morning. So we've got the 3:30. We have to have a space now, and this is AM, so we need that A. There we go. And then obviously they're in Central time, or at least in this example, they're in Central time. So now we got to find that. So you got to get your right. And here it is right here. That's Central time. Okay. So what we're going to do here first now is we're going to discuss the event. And even if we didn't have birth data, so if you don't have birth data, you just wouldn't fill this side in and you wouldn't look at this stuff. But we have birth data, so we're going to look at both. Now, the headache happened, and it happened on the left side. All right, so let's just scan the quadrant guides, and holy smokes, there it is. There's 4 things, or there's 4 hands of the clock testing the left-hand side of the body. So there's a direct hit right there, right? That's the first thing we see. Now we want to see if there were any alignments happening here, or if there were any polarity moments. So alignments, remember, if there's an alignment happening, we're going to have rose-colored boxes. Wow, look at that. There are 4 rose-colored boxes going here, and 3 of those rose-colored boxes are touching these blue segments. Now, In the step 2 video, when we showed you how to connect this stuff, if the segment's blue in the middle, that means we go to the blue quadrant guide, and you're seeing now there's green, green, green. Well, that's that left-sided headache. Holy smokes. Now let's look here and see if there's any polarity moments. Well, there is. There's a polarity moment there. 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 That's when a wave is getting ready to switch. So whether it's going to purple and coming back blue, or whether it's blue and going back to purple, these hyphenated boxes let us know when defenses are going to be heightened. So in this case, even if we didn't have rhythmic data, you can see, holy smokes, this is confirming why this individual was having that headache on that day. And then they can look at it and go, well, what do I need to start balancing so I don't have to have headaches in the future? That's how this information is used. Okay, now we're going to end here by just introducing this rhythmic data. So in the next video, in step 6, we're going to show you how to connect each one of these rhythms to each one of these displays here. And then you'll be able to look at your rhythm and see how it's connected to these displays and how your rhythm is either making it more probable that you're feeling pain that day, or your rhythm's actually in a place where it's not as probable where you're going to feel it. And what this is going to help people do is see why, even though we're all going through these collective alignments together, when you have your own personal data, it really starts to bring it into focus. It gives you a huge advantage. All right, that's pretty cool, people. Now what you've learned here is how easy it is to use this. And my advice is to start looking up events. Start keeping track of when you're not feeling so well, and then pop in that data and see if you're not having the exact same thing that we just showed you here. Now, the only downside to this online version is you can't save your events. On the downloadable HRT tool we offer, it has an event page where you can save your events, you can go back in time, and you can see how these quadrant shape alignments are causing and exacerbating your conditions again and again. It allows you to confirm what you need to focus on if you want to feel better in the future. Okay, that's a pretty good start here. So in the next video, we're going to connect these displays. We're going to show you how your personal rhythms are connected to this display. Excited to show you this next step. It just gets better and better. All right, see you at step 6.